Ah, Konami. Hashtag F Konami. Come on. They screwed over Hideo Kojima. Hello, wonderful people of the internet. Turnabout Halifax here. It has been a while. Hello. How are you guys doing? Oops, sorry, screwed up. It's been a while since I've recorded, so I'll keep screwing up whenever I do these intros. But hello. It's been a wonderful while. And yeah, I'm back with some new stuff for once again on this channel. I'm always up with new stuff. Okay, whatever. I'm talking too much. Let's just get straight into it. I decided to play Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater for the 3DS and see how that runs. See how that goes for you guys. I have previously played. I've previously played Peace Walker on the PSP. That was really great game. Really great. Really interesting. Great story and great everything. And then I decided to get Snake Eater for the PS2. However, I think that the disc ended up tearing my PS2 to pieces, so I couldn't finish the game in the end, so I decided to buy it for the 3DS so that I could play on the 3DS instead. Now, I have played a bit of the game. Oh my goodness, it says I've played over 5 hours, so if that is true, then we have 5 hours worth of stuff to find out here. I have to go through this game for a whole 5 hours again before having to do this, having to get to where I left off. But I have done some crucial plot elements. I have done a few that I'm not going to spoil. If you haven't ever played the games or been a part of the franchise, then I'm going to leave that completely open. I'm not going to spoil it for you. This is going to be like an introductory session. You get to learn. I get to play, have fun. What shall we put the difficulty as? I like Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. I like Metal Gear Solid 4. I like Metal Gear Solid... Oh, this isn't the difficulty, no. What's your favorite Metal Gear Solid? Okay, well, it has to be Peace Walker, because that is the only other one that I've played. Apart from... I tried playing Portable Ops on the PSP, but Portable Ops was such a mess that I couldn't get my head around it. So I ended up giving up on Portable Ops in the end. Let's see. What difficulty? Here's the difficulty. Alright. For beginners, standard difficulty. For confident players, game ends when being seen by enemy. Holy cow. Yes. Just yes. Nah, I think I'm still sort of a fresh person, so I feel like I'm going to go for beginners for safety reasons, so that you guys can get to see the story, and so that I don't end up dying too much. Is that reasonable? Is that reasonable for me to go to beginners? I'm going to go with beginners. I'll turn the 3D on, and this is what happens when you turn the 3D on. The screen goes all whoosh, woobly woo. I'm going to go with beginners. Sorry for stalling. It's been a whole 2 minutes already, and I'm stalling you guys too much. Start with easy. Yes, why not? Because I can't play this game for crud. I think after about 5 hours of playing the damn game, I think
After the end of World War II,
okay.
the world was split into two, East and West. This marked the beginning of the era called the Cold War.
Which we learned about in frigging history, because I'm studying politics, so we have to learn about this kind of shenanigans in history anyway. Ah, Konami. Hashtag F Konami. Come on. They screwed over Hideo Kojima. The one, the greatest video game producers, or whatever you want to call it, in the entire world, and then decided to say no, just screw it. It was a bad mistake. Konami, you done effed up, but I'm playing your games anyway because you make great games. But seriously, Konami, fix yourself. Do something right for once. But now we've been introduced to this glorious, I'm guessing 20 frames per second cutscene.
Altitude 30,000 feet.
Approaching Soviet airspace.
This game
20
is...
minutes to drop off. Commencing internal depressurization.
This game gonna be so good.
Arm main parachute.
All right. You ready to go?
Drop zone still showing a high pressure mass. Cap okay.
Good. We've got high visibility.
There's also been a lot of debate about the drop in frame rate and the drop in quality between the PS2 version, the 3DS version, and I think there's a PS Vita version. I don't even know if there is a PS Vita
Put
version.
out that cigar.
Oh, but
Connecting oxygen hose to interior connector.
let him smoke.
Put on your mask.
He ain't gonna listen to you, punk. He's gonna do what the heck he wants to do. He's Snake, bitch.
Does this panty waste know what he's doing?
Of course he knows what he's doing.
Approaching release point.
10 minutes to drop off.
Hey, are you deaf?
He said put out the cigar and put on your mask.
Oh, slow-mo cigar throw. Oh.
Depressurization complete.
Checking oxygen supply.
Right.
6 minutes to drop off. Opening rear hatch.
I'm gonna be mostly quiet for this cutscene, I think, because of, well, there's just a lot of stuff happening. So I'm just gonna talk during the bits when they're not talking, and not talk during the bits where they are talking.
Sunrise.
That music.
External temperature minus 46 degrees Celsius.
Sod that.
2 minutes to drop off. Stand up.
There's definitely a noticeable difference
130 miles per hour.
in quality.
Try not to get frostbite from the wind chill.
1 minute to drop off. Move to the rear.
Activate bailout bottle.
This is one for the history books. The world's first Halo jump.
Stop that cigar.
10 seconds to drop off. Stand by. Status okay. All green.
Prepare for drop-off. Countdown. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Spread your wings
And fly. God be with you.
And he's off. Damn, dude. Do you ever think you could manage a jump just like that? I don't think I could.
Jack, I've got some important news.
Oh, still cutscene-y.
The head of the CIA has finally given us the green light for the virtuous mission.
Virtual mission.
No, the virtuous mission.
It looks
Future
grainy
of our
as
Fox unit
fudge
depends
even on the 3DS
These
screen.
will be officially organized into a unit.
Virtuous mission. Sounds like some kind of initiation ritual.
Are these first 2 episodes
Don't
just
get
going to be a
cocky,
massive
this isn't
freaking
a training
cutscene? Because if it is, I'm not editing a whole 2 episodes worth of cutscenes.
So what
Come on.
exactly is this wonderful mission?
Yes.
Well, about 2 years ago, a certain Soviet scientist requested asylum in the West through one of our moles.
Am
His
I
name
allowed
is
to play
Nikolai
this?
Stepanovich Sokolov.
Is this like copyright infringement or
Head
something
of
by
the
playing this video?
OKB 754 Design Bureau, one of the Soviets' top secret weapon research facilities, and the East's foremost expert on weapons development.
Sokolov. Isn't he that famous rocket scientist?
Nope,
The
that didn't
very
work.
same.
That
On
doesn't
April
cut it.
12th, 1961, the Soviets achieved the first manned spaceflight in history.
The Earth was blue, but there was no God.
What?
Well spoken. The rocket that carried Yuri Gagarin into orbit was the A-1, known as the Vostok rocket. Sokolov is said to be the man most responsible for the multi-engine cluster used in that rocket.
I hope you guys are prepared for a history lesson.
After
It's been a while
Gagarin's
since I played
flight,
this game, so it's still
Sokolov
refreshing my
left
memories
rocket
here.
development to become the head of the newly established Design Bureau.
From a lowly technician to head of Design Bureau. That's quite a success story. So why do you want to defect?
It seems he'd become afraid of his own creations.
Afraid.
Call it a crisis of conscience.
And for that, he left his country and his family behind and went over the fence?
Not exactly. One of his conditions was that his family was also to be taken safely to the west. We used a mole to get the family out first, and succeeded in sneaking Sokolov over the Berlin Wall shortly afterwards.
Berlin Wall.
I
Shout
was
out to the
one
Berlin
who
Wall.
Conducted the operation.
The security on the eastern side was still full of holes back then. Then what?
We got Sokolov over in one piece, but the whole ordeal had left him exhausted, and we checked him into a hospital in West Berlin. It took him 2 weeks and more than 600 miles to get from the research facility in the Soviet Union to Berlin. He was in no condition to say anything coherent. And it was only a week later that we had something much bigger on our hands.
The Cuban Missile Crisis.
October the 16th,
dear God.
1962, President
It's
Kennedy
a
received word
freaking
that the Soviets
story and a
were
half, isn't it?
deploying intermediate-range ballistic missiles in Cuba. The President demanded that the Soviets dismantle and remove the missiles. At the same time, he announced a naval blockade to prevent further missile shipments from reaching Cuba. But the Soviets didn't back down, instead placing their armed forces on secondary alert. Soviet transport ships carrying missiles continued on course towards Cuba. US and Soviet forces went on alert for an all-out nuclear war. Frantic negotiations were conducted through the UN's Emergency Security Council and unofficial channels to end the hair-trigger standoff. Finally, on October the 28th, the Soviet Union agreed to remove its missiles from Cuba.
Yay.
And so the world avoided a nuclear holocaust. But in order to get the Soviets to pull their missiles out, we had to make a deal.
You mean the one where the US agreed to remove its IRBMs from Turkey?
No. The Jupiter IRBMs deployed in Turkey were obsolete, and we were going to get rid of them anyway. They had no strategic value whatsoever to either the US or the Russians.
That's
The
rude.
Turkey deal was a ruse, a cover story that was fed to the other intelligence agencies around the world.
So what did the Russians really want?
Sokolov. They wanted us to return Sokolov.
You mean the Soviets pulled out of Cuba just to get their hands on Sokolov?
That's right.
What the hell was he working on?
At the time, we had no idea.
Oh, God.
We were running out of time. It was either give up Sokolov or risk full-scale nuclear war. In the end, we had no choice.
She just sold a man out.
He gave in to Khrushchev's demand. The next day, I got Sokolov out of the hospital, handed him over to agents on the eastern side. Sokolov kept on screaming, "Save me," until he disappeared from my sight.
That would not be cool.
Then, a month ago, we received some new information from one of our moles.
About Sokolov?
Yes. He was taken back to the research facility and forced to continue working on the weapon in question under KGB supervision. What's more, it's on the verge of completion.
So what kind of weapon is it? Something to do with space rockets?
No, missiles.
Same technology.
I guess you're right. We don't know the details, but it appears to be a new kind of nuclear device. For half a year now, the Soviets have been conducting frequent nuclear tests at Semipalatinsk.
Something to do with the weapon, I assume.
We're talking about a secret weapon so big that Khrushchev was ready to pull out of Cuba to get it back.
Is Sokolov still in a facility?
No, according to our intelligence, he's in Selino-Yarsk, a place in the mountains about 3 miles to the west that's known as the Virgin Cliffs.
The Virgin Cliffs. Nice name for a virtuous mission.
They moved him there just recently.
Why?
Apparently, they're conducting a field test of the weapon, but it's our best chance to get him back. This mission would never have been possible if he was still in the research facility. This is our last chance.
This is the
Sokolov must have
longest
known that.
cutscene I have ever had to sit through. Holy cow. That is a lengthy ass cutscene.